everything you know about morality is a lie, not a simple mistake, not a misunderstanding, a system crafted to keep you powerless. It was never about fairness, never about justice, never about creating a better world. It was designed to control you, to strip you of strength, while convincing you that submission is virtue. For centuries, morality has been worshipped as truth. You were told to be kind, to be humble, to sacrifice. They said suffering is noble. They said the good will triumph. But look at history. Do the meek rise to power? Do the selfless rule? Or have you been deceived into kneeling while others take what could have been yours? Nietzsche saw through this illusion. He saw that morality, as you know it, is not a universal truth. It is a weapon, a tool crafted by the weak to bind the strong, a system designed not to elevate humanity, but to suppress those who would rise above the herd. Because morality, in its modern form, is not about virtue. It is about control. Where did these ideas come from? Who benefits from them? And more importantly, how do you escape? How do you break free from a system designed to make you weak? To understand this, you must dismantle the lies you've carried since birth. Unlearn what you were told was good. Only then can you see the truth. This is the truth they don't want you to know. The knowledge they buried. The philosophy they erased. Because once you see it, you can never be controlled again. Since the dawn of time, one law has ruled all life. The strong dominate, the weak submit. This was not cruelty. It was simply nature. The lion does not hesitate before the kill. The wolf does not ask the sheep for permission to eat it. Power is taken, never given. The ancient world knew no morality like today's world. Strength was revered. Ambition was respected. Power was seized without apology. The great empires of Rome, Greece, Persia were built by those who took what they desired. But then, something changed. A new ideology emerged, one that did not serve the strong, but the weak. One that took the natural instincts of power, ambition, and conquest and rebranded them as evil. Nietzsche called this slave morality. It was not created by rulers or warriors, but by those who had no power of their own. The powerless, the resentful, the envious. Those who could not dominate sought instead to undermine domination itself. Christianity was the perfect vessel for this transformation. It told the oppressed that their suffering was holy, that their weakness was virtue, that their masters were evil. It turned power into sin and submission into righteousness. No longer were men striving to become stronger. They were taught to be meek, obedient, self-sacrificing, and it worked. The Roman Empire, once a civilization built on strength and conquest, fell to an ideology that praised humility and guilt. The desire for power was replaced by the desire to suffer. Strength was no longer something to admire, it was something to fear. But Nietzsche saw the truth. He understood that morality was not a divine law, but a human invention, one designed not to uplift, but to suppress. The question is, are you trapped within this system? Are you playing by rules designed to keep you weak? If so, are you ready to break free? Because if morality is a lie, then what comes next? You have been told that morality is absolute, that it exists outside of time, beyond human influence, as a universal law that governs all. But Nietzsche saw what others refused to acknowledge. Morality is not eternal, nor is it divine. Morality was never about virtue. It was a tool of the weak, designed to restrain those who should have ruled. A cage disguised as wisdom. Nietzsche exposed morality's greatest lie. No divine force punishes the wicked. No unseen judge rewards the good. Morality exists only to pacify the powerful. It is not a law of the universe. It is a chain placed around the necks of those who might rise. And the question is, will you continue to wear it? To break free, you must understand two forces that have shaped history: master morality and slave morality. One dominates, the other submits. Master morality belonged to the rulers, the conquerors, the creators. It thrives on power, self-determination, and the pursuit of greatness. To the masters, good was whatever elevated them. Strength, ambition, intelligence, creativity. What was bad was whatever weakened them. Cowardice, mediocrity, submission. But the majority of people were not rulers. They were the ruled. And because they could not defeat the strong through strength, they sought to defeat them through ideology. Slave morality was their greatest weapon. It flipped the values of master morality upside down. Instead of admiring power, it demonized it. Instead of glorifying ambition, it called it greed. Instead of celebrating strength, it labeled it cruelty. The weak, the timid, the submissive, they rebranded themselves as virtuous. Humility replaced dominance. Obedience replaced independence. The herd made its weakness a moral code and forced the strong to obey it. But here's where the deception becomes truly sinister. The weak do not just demand submission. They convince you that it is your duty to submit. They use guilt as a weapon, making you ashamed of your own power. They praise suffering, telling you it is noble to endure pain rather than to rise above it. They glorify sacrifice, teaching you that your highest purpose is to serve others, not yourself. This is the great trick of morality. It does not just restrain you, it makes you believe that restraint is good. It does not just suppress your strength, it convinces you that strength itself is evil. And so you kneel, thinking you are righteous. You hold yourself back, believing you are virtuous. You deny your instincts, your desires, your will to power, all in service of a morality designed to keep you small. But if morality is nothing more than a tool of the weak, then what does that mean for those who refuse to be ruled? What happens when you reject this system entirely? What happens when you take back your power? If morality is a lie, what replaces it? If obedience weakens you, what strengthens you? If the values you were taught, humility, obedience, self-sacrifice, were designed to weaken you, then what should you believe in? Nietzsche did not simply seek to destroy morality. He sought to replace it, not with another set of arbitrary rules, but with something far more radical: the overman. The overman is the one who breaks free. He does not live by the values imposed upon him by the weak. He does not submit to guilt, tradition, or outdated moral codes. He creates his own values, forging a path beyond good and evil. This is the terrifying truth that most people refuse to accept. There is no pre-written meaning to life. There is no universal guidebook, no external morality dictating what is right or wrong. All of that was fabricated by lesser men trying to control you. But if you are strong enough, if you are willing to step beyond these illusions, you can become something greater. You can become the one who decides. This is what Nietzsche meant when he declared, "God is dead." He was not celebrating the death of a deity. He was announcing the collapse of an entire worldview. Without a God to define morality, without an external authority dictating good and evil, everything is now in your hands. Most people cannot handle this level of freedom. They need the comfort of rules, of absolutes, of someone else telling them how to live. They fear the overman because he is proof that morality is not necessary. It is optional. It is a crutch, and he has thrown it away. But becoming the overman is not simply about rejecting morality. It is about creating your own values. It is about replacing the old, decayed morality of weakness with a new morality of strength. Imagine a world where you no longer feel guilt for wanting more, where ambition is not shameful, but sacred, where power is not something to suppress, but something to cultivate, where you do not seek permission to live as you choose. You take it. This is the mindset of the overman. He does not ask if his desires are right or wrong. He asks only if they are his. He does not look to others for approval. He does not submit to herd morality. He rules himself. And this terrifies those who still live under the lie. They will call you arrogant, selfish, immoral. They will tell you that you must conform, obey, kneel. Not because it is right, but because your strength exposes their weakness. Most will never make it past this stage. Most will choose comfort over truth, security over power. They will retreat back into the illusion, clinging to morality like a life raft. But for those who refuse, those who dare to step beyond good and evil, something extraordinary awaits. Because once you see morality for what it is, you can never be controlled again. And once you stop kneeling, the only thing left to do is rise. It is one thing to understand Nietzsche's philosophy. It is another to live it. Most will hear these ideas and do nothing. They will retreat back into their comfortable chains, clinging to the false morality they have known all their lives. But if you are among the few who see the truth, who feel the pull of something greater, then you must take action. Transcending morality is not an intellectual exercise. It is a transformation, a rebirth, and it begins with one simple but terrifying step. You must stop seeking permission. For your entire life, you have been conditioned to ask for approval. You have been trained to measure your actions against a moral code that was never designed to serve you. You hesitate. You second guess. You feel guilt over things that should bring you power. No more. The overman does not ask, "Is this right?" He asks, "Is this mine?" He does not submit to the judgment of the herd. He decides. He acts. He creates. But how do you make this shift? How do you erase the morality that has been burned into your mind since birth? First, you must reject guilt. Guilt is the weapon of the weak. It is how they make you hesitate, how they keep you in line. You must understand that guilt is not proof of wrongdoing. It is proof of conditioning. The moment you feel guilt, stop and ask yourself, who benefits from me feeling this way? The answer is never you. Second, you must embrace your desires. Morality has taught you that ambition is greed, that power is corrupt, that wanting more is sinful. But Nietzsche teaches that your desires are not flaws. They are fuel. They are the raw materials from which you will build your own values, your own path, your own existence. Third, you must destroy the need for external validation. Most people live their lives according to what others think. They fear rejection, disapproval, the judgment of the herd. The overman is different. He does not live for others. He does not seek to fit in. He shapes the world according to his own vision and does not care who disapproves. Finally, you must create your own morality. If morality is a lie, that does not mean you must live in chaos. It means you must forge your own code, a code that serves you, a code built on your strengths, your truth, your will to power. Ask yourself, what do I value? What do I stand for? What rules will I live by? Not because they were given to me, but because I choose them. This is what it means to transcend morality, not to abandon values, but to reclaim them, to reject the values imposed upon you and become the creator of your own destiny. And once you do this, once you step beyond the illusions of morality, you will realize something profound. You were never meant to obey. You were meant to rise. Everything you have been taught about morality has led you to this moment. You have shattered the illusion, torn through the deception. And now, you stand at the edge of something terrifying, yet exhilarating. Most will never make it here. They will retreat, clinging to their chains because they are familiar. They will call their submission virtue. They will justify their obedience. They will choose comfort over power. Are you most people? You are standing at a threshold where few dare to tread. Beyond it, there are no masters to serve, no rules to obey, no higher power dictating what you must do. There is only you, your will, your choices, your power. Nietzsche did not offer a path for the weak. He did not write for the fearful. He wrote for those bold enough to take control of their own existence, for those willing to destroy the morality that binds them and replace it with their own creation. This is your final choice. You can return to the herd. You can continue living under the values imposed upon you, believing in justice, fairness, humility, all the things designed to keep you tamed. Or you can step beyond morality. You can forge your own values, carve your own path, build a life that is truly yours. But understand this one thing. Once you take this step, there is no going back. Once you see morality for what it is, you will never be ruled again. The world will look different. The people around you will seem smaller. Their fears, their guilt, their self-imposed limitations will no longer make sense to you because you will have risen above them. So now, the question is simple. Will you be one of those who submits, or will you be the one who decides?